50 Amish Gardening Hacks. You wish you'd known earlier. Transform your garden into a self-sustaining paradise. Ancient secrets that put modern gardening to shame. Picture walking into your backyard and harvesting fresh vegetables, herbs, and fruits without ever setting foot in a garden center again. No expensive fertilizers, no chemical pesticides, no fancy equipment, just abundant, healthy plants thriving naturally year after year. Sound impossible? The Amish have been doing exactly this for centuries, turning simple backyards into productive food factories using nothing but clever techniques and natural wisdom. These aren't just quaint, old-fashioned methods, they're scientifically superior approaches that work better than anything you can buy at the store. When I first witnessed an Amish garden in full swing, I was stunned. Plants growing bigger and healthier than anything I'd ever seen, soil so rich it looked like chocolate cake, and not a single chemical in sight. It completely changed how I think about gardening. The secret isn't in expensive products or complicated systems. It's in understanding how nature actually works and working with it instead of against it. Every technique the Amish use serves multiple purposes, creating a garden ecosystem that becomes more productive and self-sustaining over time. They've turned gardening from an expensive hobby into a reliable food production system that gets better every year. Most gardeners focus on plants, but the Amish know the real magic happens underground. They treat soil like a living organism that needs to be fed and nurtured, not just a medium to hold plants upright. This fundamental shift in thinking transforms everything about how gardens perform. Kitchen scraps that most people throw away become garden gold in Amish hands. Every banana peel, coffee ground, and eggshell gets recycled back into the soil, creating a continuous cycle of nutrition that costs nothing but produces incredible results. They've perfected the art of composting, turning waste into black gold that makes plants explode with growth. The composting process they use isn't complicated, but it's precise. Layers of kitchen waste mixed with dried leaves and grass clippings create the perfect environment for beneficial microorganisms to break down organic matter. The result is compost so rich and nutritious that a single handful contains more life than most people's entire gardens. What makes their approach brilliant is the understanding that healthy soil creates healthy plants naturally. Instead of fighting problems with chemicals, they prevent them by building soil so alive and balanced that plants thrive without intervention. It's like creating a natural pharmacy in your backyard where plants can find everything they need to stay healthy and productive. Coffee grounds play a special role in this system. While most people dump them in the trash, the Amish know they're packed with nitrogen and other nutrients that plants crave. Scattered around plants or mixed into compost, coffee grounds provide slow-release nutrition that keeps feeding plants for months. Even earthworms love processing coffee grounds, creating even richer soil in the process. Water management in Amish gardens goes far beyond just turning on a sprinkler. They've developed sophisticated systems for collecting, storing, and distributing water that ensure plants never go thirsty while minimizing waste and effort. Rainwater collection transforms every storm into a gardening opportunity. Simple barrel systems positioned under downspouts can capture hundreds of gallons of pure, chemical-free water that plants prefer over treated tap water. This isn't just about saving money. Rainwater's natural acidity helps nutrients become more available to plant roots, leading to healthier growth. The timing of watering makes an enormous difference in plant health and water efficiency. Evening watering allows roots to absorb moisture without competing with evaporation, which can steal up to 60% of water during hot days. This simple timing change can dramatically reduce water needs while improving plant performance. Cooled water from boiling eggs becomes a calcium-rich plant supplement that strengthens cell walls and prevents common problems like blossom end rot in tomatoes. Instead of buying expensive calcium supplements, this free resource provides exactly what plants need while eliminating waste. Ice cube watering provides slow, steady moisture that penetrates deeply without overwhelming plant roots. This technique is particularly effective for container plants and sensitive species that prefer consistent moisture over flood and drought cycles. It's like creating a personal irrigation system for each plant using nothing but frozen water. The Amish approach to pest control is revolutionary because it focuses on prevention rather than treatment. Instead of waiting for problems to appear and then fighting them with chemicals, they create garden environments where pests naturally struggle to establish themselves. Companion planting pairs plants that help each other thrive while confusing and deterring pests. Tomatoes and basil aren't just kitchen companions. The basil actually improves tomato flavor while repelling insects that would otherwise damage the crop. Marigolds scattered throughout vegetable beds act like natural pest control systems, their strong scent keeping harmful insects away while attracting beneficial ones. Human hair scattered around garden perimeters creates an invisible fence that deer and rabbits actively avoid. The scent triggers their natural fear of predators, keeping them away from precious plants without any harmful chemicals or expensive fencing. As the hair decomposes, it releases nitrogen into the soil, providing dual benefits for the garden. Copper pennies placed in plant pots create a natural antifungal environment that prevents mold and mildew problems before they start. The copper ions slowly release into the soil, creating conditions where harmful fungi simply cannot survive. It's like having a tiny guardian working 24/7 to keep plants healthy. Vinegar solutions disrupt ant trails and confuse their communication systems, making gardens as navigable as a maze with no exit. This natural approach eliminates ant problems without harsh chemicals while being completely safe around food plants and beneficial insects. The Amish have turned seed starting into an art form that produces stronger plants while saving enormous amounts of money. Their techniques create seedlings so robust they outperform expensive nursery plants while costing pennies to produce. Eggshells become perfect biodegradable starter pots that provide calcium nutrition as they decompose. This brilliant recycling creates the ideal environment for young plants while eliminating transplant shock since the entire shell can be planted directly in the garden. It's like giving seedlings their own nutritious lunchbox that feeds them as they grow. Dense seeding followed by careful transplanting maximizes space efficiency while allowing selection of the strongest plants. This technique treats seeds starting like a plant beauty pageant, where the most vigorous specimens get prime garden real estate while smaller ones find homes in containers or with neighbors. Newspaper pots provide another biodegradable option that costs virtually nothing while reducing transplant shock. The paper breaks down naturally in the soil, feeding beneficial microorganisms while the plants establish themselves. It's yesterday's news becoming tomorrow's garden success. Proper seed orientation with pointed ends facing downward can improve germination rates by up to 15%, while reducing the time seeds take to emerge. This simple technique gives seeds a compass that always points toward growth, eliminating the energy waste that occurs when seeds have to figure out which direction is up. The Amish have discovered that the best plant nutrition comes from natural sources that provide slow-release feeding while improving soil health. Their approach creates plants that are not only more productive but also more resistant to pests and diseases. Banana peels buried around tomato plants provide potassium-rich nutrition that strengthens stems and improves fruit flavor. This kitchen waste becomes a natural energy drink for plants, providing sustained nutrition over weeks as the peels decompose. The potassium boost is particularly valuable for fruiting plants that need extra energy for production. Crushed eggshells scattered around plants provide calcium supplementation that prevents common problems like blossom end rot, while deterring soft-bodied pests like slugs and snails. The sharp edges create a natural barrier that pests prefer to avoid, while the calcium slowly releases into the soil. Used tea leaves and tea bags create nitrogen-rich fertilizer that's particularly beneficial for leafy plants. Green tea leaves contain up to 4 times more nitrogen than coffee grounds, making them especially valuable for vegetables like lettuce, spinach, and herbs. The slow decomposition provides sustained feeding that keeps plants productive throughout the growing season. Epsom salt applications provide magnesium and sulfur that support chlorophyll production and flower development. This simple supplement can increase flower production by up to 35% while improving overall plant health. It's particularly beneficial for roses, peppers, and tomatoes that have high magnesium requirements. Space efficiency in Amish gardens reaches levels that seem almost magical. They've developed techniques that produce enormous harvests from small areas while reducing maintenance and improving plant health. Potato barrel growing stacks production vertically, yielding up to 100 pounds of potatoes from the same space that traditional methods might produce 20 pounds. This technique treats potato growing like a game of Jenga, continuously adding soil as plants grow to encourage more tuber production along buried stems. Vertical growing systems maximize production in minimal space while making harvesting easier and more efficient. These systems work particularly well for vining crops like beans, peas, and cucumbers that naturally want to climb. Supporting their natural growth habits increases yields while reducing ground space requirements. Succession planting ensures continuous harvests throughout the growing season, rather than overwhelming gluts followed by empty periods. This technique staggers plantings every few weeks, creating a conveyor belt of fresh produce that provides steady harvests from spring through fall. Crop rotation preserves soil nutrients while reducing pest and disease problems naturally. This musical chairs approach for plants ensures that soil doesn't become depleted while breaking pest cycles that depend on the same crops being in the same locations year after year. The Amish approach to tool care reflects their philosophy of making things last indefinitely rather than constantly replacing them. Their maintenance techniques keep garden tools functioning perfectly for decades while saving money and reducing waste. Vinegar cleaning removes rust and grime from metal tools more effectively than expensive commercial products. The acetic acid dissolves rust while being gentle enough not to damage tool surfaces. Regular cleaning with this simple solution can extend tool life by years while maintaining peak performance. Proper storage protects tools from weather damage while keeping them organized and easily accessible. The Amish understand that tools left exposed to moisture and temperature changes deteriorate rapidly, while properly stored implements can last for generations. Sharpening and maintenance routines keep cutting tools performing at their best while preventing the frustration of trying to work with dull implements. Sharp tools make gardening easier and more enjoyable while producing cleaner cuts that heal faster and reduce plant stress. Understanding seasonal rhythms allows Amish gardeners to work with natural cycles rather than fighting against them. This approach produces better results with less effort while creating gardens that thrive year-round. Timing plantings according to natural indicators rather than calendar dates ensures that plants are introduced to optimal growing conditions. The Amish read natural signs like soil temperature, day length, and plant behavior to determine the perfect timing for various garden activities. Fall preparation sets the stage for successful spring gardens while protecting plants through winter months. This forward-thinking approach treats gardening as a year-round cycle rather than a seasonal activity, creating continuity that improves results over time. Winter planning and seed saving create self-sufficiency while preserving the best genetics from each year's garden. This practice builds a seed library customized to local conditions while eliminating dependence on commercial seed companies. What makes Amish gardening truly remarkable isn't any single technique. It's the underlying philosophy that treats gardening as a complete system rather than a collection of separate activities. Every action serves multiple purposes, creating efficiency and sustainability that modern gardening often lacks. Their waste-nothing approach transforms every organic material into garden resources. Kitchen scraps become compost, coffee grounds become fertilizer, eggshells become starter pots and calcium supplements. This circular thinking eliminates waste while creating abundance from materials most people discard. The focus on soil health as the foundation of everything else creates gardens that become more productive and self-sustaining over time. Instead of fighting problems with external inputs, they prevent problems by creating conditions where plants naturally thrive. Working with natural processes rather than against them reduces effort while improving results. Understanding how plants actually grow and what they need allows gardeners to provide optimal conditions with minimal intervention. The long-term perspective treats gardening as an investment that pays dividends for years rather than an annual expense. Building soil, saving seeds, and creating sustainable systems produces gardens that become more valuable and productive with each passing season. This approach proves that the most sophisticated gardening techniques are often the simplest ones. By understanding fundamental principles and working with natural processes, anyone can create a garden that produces abundant food while becoming more self-sufficient and sustainable over time. The Amish way shows us that true gardening success comes not from buying more products, but from understanding how nature actually works and partnering with it to create abundance.